BTB TV is where cyclocross lives.
Uptown, all night, just ripping around the city on my cross bike. Just hopping curbs and running stairs. No helmet, I don't care. Because I got this new ride, right? And I hit the berm and take her home. She's mighty firm. She's a U23, so she's got time to learn. I actually met her out in Belgium under those gray clouds, and she was getting wild in the host house. But she's a cyclocross girl, man. She is shameless. She'll do it after dark in Vegas. She'll be running up the stairs in Valmont or hanging in Grenot with Fat Mark. She'll go down east, riding through the barn, or cross-crusading with a tree farm. She's bad too, man. She's got broken bones like Greg Keller. She'll be in the Hall of Fame with Pete Weber. She's tall and lean like the Twin Towers. Got swag like Jeremy Powers. She's on the scene, looking mean. She'll be shooting up the pits with Simple Green. Ice cream every day, but still so lean. She's the fastest dude on her team. She'll be on cross results every day because she's a fiend. She's gluten-free, but she loves lima beans. But she'll be in the beer garden with Charlie Sheen drinking IPAs in her Rafa jeans. She's got that Rafa shirt, that Rafa coat. Just took a bath with some Rafa soap. She's got her MacBook Pro and her Rafa tote just chilling on a motherfucking Rafa boat. And then there's me, right? I got nothing. I mean, I paid my dues. I make the news, but who's number one? Do I really have to choose? I mean, I like my cyclocross women in twos. Maybe Katarina Nash, little Katie Antonou. Better yet, I'll take three. I'll have Elle, Ella, and Ellie. I can't help it, man. I just love me some cyclocross ladies. They go hard, they get dirty, and they're not lazy. Plus that new girl, Ellen, just turned 18, and that chick is crazy. All right, honestly, guys, that's enough. That's good. I'm done. Welcome back to the show. Week number 14. Who's number one? All right, guys, let's get right to this. A surprisingly good weekend this past weekend. We had a lot of good local racing from California to the Ice Weasels here in New England. We had the Colorado State Championships of Cyclocross, and of course, your USA Cycling Pro CX calendar races, the UCI races at the Grand Prix of North Carolina. With no further ado, your ladies' rankings this week. First up, dropping all the way down to number 19 is Nicole Duke. Had a tough race a couple of weeks ago in Bend. This past weekend fails to even make the podium at the Colorado State Championships. In better news, moving up the rankings to number 17 this week is Amanda, I don't know if she's Nauman or Nauman, it doesn't matter. She is on fire lately, continues her hot streak this past weekend in Southern California, the first year elite rider. She's got skills for days, she's got power for days, she's got freckles for days. What? I like freckles. In number 16 and 15 this week is Sonia Gilbert and Jessica Cutler, who both take UCI wins this past weekend at the North Carolina Grand Prix. Moving all the way up to number 5 now. Yes, number 5 is Georgia Gould. Comes out of just complete nowhere this season to win the Colorado State Championships this past weekend on the women's side. Now, Georgia, a former superstar in her own right in cyclocross, also a former not superstar in cyclocross, hashtag heckle me, but she came out this weekend, delivered the goods, putting a little bit of hope now in my heart that we may see her show up to Boulder for the national championships in a couple weeks. She is from Colorado, Fort Collins, Boulder, just a quick drive down the road. Georgia, see you there. And finally, no change in your top 2 this week. Katarina Nash, number 2. Katie Compton remains on top of the list in the number 1 spot. Nash, she won both days out in Bend last week, and I think now she may be done with cyclocross season for good. Katie Compton heads over to Europe now for Christmas Cross. And then she comes back for the national championships in Boulder, where she will go for 10 consecutive titles. Moving on to your men's rankings this week. First off, dropped off the rankings, no longer in your top 20. No, I'm not talking about Jeremy Duran. I'm talking about you, Robert Marion. Come on, bro. We go home to North Carolina, to your back freaking yard, and you can't even crack the top 10? Dude. Moving on now to your top 20 riders in North America. Number 20 this week is Peter Gogan. Yes, Peter Gogan, the junior racer, is now one of the top 20 racers of the male variety in all of North America, amongst everybody. Only the second junior to ever crack the list. Logan Owen was the first just a couple of years ago, but this kid, Peter, is no freaking joke. He's been winning elite races all season long on the local non-UCI level, just won Ice Weasels this past weekend in Massachusetts, but the kid is really, really good. The real deal. And if you guys check below this video, check out the link to his, I don't know what it is, the Indiegogo or GoFundMe or whatever, but he is raising money to go to Europe, to go kick some butt on the European scene this Christmas, go to the World Championships. This kid is the future. I know that word gets thrown around all the time, but this kid, seriously, the future of cross in North America. Number 19 this week on the rankings is Brian Motter, making his return to the rankings. He has been here before, but honestly, Brian, I should be saying your name a little bit more frequently on this show. Number 19, you had a good weekend in North Carolina in the top 10, but let's pick it up maybe just a little bit, crack that top 10 for nationals. Number 18 this week. We're talking a lot about riders on the back end of the rankings here, but those are the guys who raced this week. So number 18, making an even more triumphant return to the rankings, is Stephen Hyde. Stephen, the next White Hope Hyde, who beat Jonathan Page at the beginning of the season, now took a month off the bike with an injury, like literally off the bike, no riding, does a week of riding, comes back in North Carolina for a super strong ride. 6th place. Welcome back, Stephen. Also making their return to the rankings this week in number 11 is Zach McDonald. Finally gets his legs figured out on Sunday in North Carolina for a very strong podium ride, as did your number 9 rider this week, Troy Wells. Like Stephen Hyde, was dealing with some injuries this season, some back problems. He is now figuring it out late season, comes on for a solid podium ride as well. Number 7 this week, moving on up, is Alan Krugoff. Takes the crown, takes the jersey at the Colorado State Cyclocross Championships on Sunday. And that brings us to our top 2 riders in North America this weekend, this week, and really this season. We're talking about Jeremy Powers and Tim Johnson. They've gone back and forth. They have shared the spotlight these past couple of weeks. We went to North Carolina to figure it all out. 9 points separating the two for the USA Cycling Pro CX calendar. What happened? Well, it got muddy, it got slimy. Tim Johnson was going to dominate, but he didn't. It was Jeremy Powers both days in maybe the most commanding fashion we've seen from him all season long. From the gun, winning by more than a minute each day. Tim Johnson, pretty good on Saturday, 2nd place. Not the best ride on Sunday. So Tim, still a great season, still on some great form right now, but he will be your number 2 rider, while Jeremy Powers now coming into that discussion as your co-favorite maybe for the national championships in a couple weeks. He is your number 1 rider. You guys, that is it for right now. I know we got a little bit of a break now in the season here. We take a little downtime. Some of you may be hanging up your wheels for good. Please still watch the show. I know some of you guys are going to Europe. Of course, we have the national championships. A very big announcement about that coming out in a few days, maybe, but we will see you guys there. Thank you, as always, for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.